So hi everyone, I posted this video a few days ago and I had some requests on how I animated the unfolding and especially the stop motion effect that you can see here. So in this first video what I'm gonna focus on is the unfolding, and I'll do a second video on how I added the stop motion effects on the existing animation. So here in Cinema, I'm gonna make a new material and just import my texture. Uh, yeah, now I'm gonna add a plane and apply my texture to the plane. Put one segment in the width and height, and now I'm just gonna cut my edges and delete what I don't need. So here I'm gonna add another edge here, and then I delete all I don't need, and I'm gonna add another edge here so I can separate my side and the roof. So this is gonna be our side. This is gonna be our front of the house. Okay, and finally this is gonna be our roof. So I'm just gonna add another cut here. I don't need this part. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some cuts in the on the side. So this gonna be helpful when I'm gonna add the animation. Doing the same for the front side, and I'm gonna add some cuts here too, and trying to keep the same width between two cuts. So okay, I can just delete this, and using the knife tool I can add some cuts here and on this side. Okay, so I delete the vertices I don't need, and so this is okay for me. So this is gonna be the roof, and I'm gonna select my edges, and I hit MM to add a few other cuts. Here I'm gonna group everything and delete what I don't need, and I select my faces and just use the axis center tool to center the axis. So this will be it's not, you don't need to do this, but it's cleaner. So for the animation it's really simple. I just use a bend effector. So I'm gonna just align it to Z plus, fit to parent, and for the angle I'm gonna add 90 degrees, and now when I play with the strength it's gonna bend as we want. So what I want to do is just make it flat. It doesn't need to be perfect. I mean, here you can see it's not perfect, it's not completely flat, but as it's paper it may give us some better results if it's not perfect, I guess. Okay, so here I'm gonna put some keyframes. So I go to frame 0 and I have to animate it along the z-axis. So yeah, so I add a keyframe on frame 0, and then moving to frame 20 I just move my bend deformer and add another keyframe, and here I just add I also add keyframes on the visibility. Okay, so on frame off on frame 0 and on frame 1. So yeah, here we have our first animation, and then I just copy the bend on the other planes, and I have to delete my keyframes, because when I hit the fit to parent, it will give us troubles. So adjust my strength, then I hit control and I add a keyframe on frame 0, then I move my bend and add another keyframe here on frame 20. I don't forget to add my keyframes on visibility, so 0 visibility is off, then frame 1 it's background. So I copy once again my bend to the roof, delete my track, and go to object, fit parent, and here I adjust my strength once again. So this depends on what shape you want, but yeah, here I want something flat, so I set my strength like that, and it's time to add some keyframes. So for frame 0, then frame 20 keyframe. Okay. So here I just add the visibility keyframes. So frame 0 I set it to off, and then frame 1 it's back to on again. And okay, so here we have our basic animation. Then I'm going to frame 2025, where everything is unfolded, and so here I just have to build my house with these basic parts. So I turn my front face, put it in place, and trying to adjust my different parts. Okay, it's not perfect, but it will do. Then okay, there we are. So yeah, I try to duplicate this, so the front side and the side, and adjust the position from the top view. So yeah, this looks almost like a house. So for the roof now, I'm gonna adjust the position from the front view, right view, I guess. So now just let me see which side the animation is taking place. So back to the right view, I'm just gonna adjust the position here. Okay, and okay, it's not really aligned, as you can see, but okay. So now I'm gonna duplicate my bend. So here, okay, this is animating. I'm gonna duplicate my bend. I'm gonna call this one animation, and this will just first I delete the track, and then I'm gonna just change my values here and in my size too. Okay, and this band will be just to give the shape to the roof, and the other one is there to animate. I adjust the value here, and then taking the roof, using T, I just rescale everything and put it in place. So E to get back to my move tool, and so it's a little bigger, and I think it's looking better. So here we have a problem. You have to change the order of the bend, so it animates as we want. So we have to put the bend animation in first place. Then what you have to do now is we have to offset our animation, because for now it's not looking that good. Everything is animating at the same time. I'm just offsetting this side. Okay, so maybe this one, I offset this a bit, and finally this front side. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's not too bad. We have now to offset our roof, and for the roof we want the roof to follow the side of the house. We want the animation to start over here. Okay, and so it looks a little more natural. So yeah, the animation looks like this, and so next what we want to do is we call this house, so it's in French, sorry, but we now want to put this in a cloner object, so we can duplicate our first house. What I do is I make a polygon object to place our houses, and so I set the cloner to objects, and I use my polygon. So I just have to not align the clones. Okay, and then I just choose my vertices as a distribution source. So my polygon, I make it editable, and let me just hide my cloner and go back to frame 0. And so my polygon, I'm gonna choose some vertices, control drag, I make 4 new vertices, UI to invert and delete the extra vertices. So here we just have 4 vertices, and now when I move them around, I can move my different houses, which is quite useful to place them where I want. So okay, here if I do a control drag, I can add new vertices. So I select one vertex and I duplicate it with the control drag. So I'm just adding a plane, so we have like a floor, and then I just move my vertices a little up, so the houses are in the right position. So now what we are going to do is I duplicate my houses, my first house, and we are making a second version of it. So let me just put this outside the cloner and move it up, and so I'm gonna modify this copy. So first I'm gonna select my side and add a cut here. I remove the extra points. I'm gonna move this front part and put it in place. like so. Adjust it a little bit, and then I'm gonna add another cut to this side, like so, and remove what I don't need. Okay, and so for the roof it's the same. I just add another cut here and delete my points. So here what we've got is just a really cheap second version of the house. And now I can just maybe, so okay, so we have two versions of our house. And what you can add to have a little more variation is maybe move some of them down. So we have some houses with 2 floors and some other with only 1. Okay, so here I can duplicate some more, and for now everything is in the same direction, but that's not a problem. You just can use the Mograph selection tool and select some of them. So I have to select my cloner, select some of them, and just add a Mograph Effector plane. This will be plane orientation, and so here we're gonna see, yeah, the Mograph selection you see here is on the plane orientation. Okay. Okay, so the effector is the cloner is using the plane orientation. That's fine. Then this selection is used in the plane orientation. If the selection is not in there, you just can drag and drop it. So here you can see the plane is just using the position. That's not what we want. We want rotation on the on the H axis. So 90 degrees, for example. And so here you can see it's not really lined up correctly. So what I can do is just disable the cloner and select our houses, and with the axis selected, I just simply put the axis in the center of the object here. Same for the first house, like so. I activate my cloner object again, and okay, so this is done. So here, if you want to select more of them, just go back to the Mograph selection. You have to select the cloner and the selection tag. So it's gonna add this selection to the existing Mograph selection. So with Control you can remove some objects, and with Shift you can add some, like that. And still, if you want to move some objects, going to point mode, I just move some vertices on my polygon. I call this copy houses, and so if I want, I still can move them around. So if you now control drag some vertices on my object to duplicate the houses, the new houses will go back to the original orientation. So what you want to do is, if you want to rotate them, you just select your cloner and the selection tag, and just add some new selection. And so if I want, I still can move them around. like this. And then yeah, so we have our little village here, but it's not really interesting because everything is happening at the same time. So let's put everything in a null object. So this will be our cloner village. I put everything in the null in the group. So now what we want is we want some control on the animation. So here I go to transform, and in the animation mode I set the animation mode to fixed. So as you see, nothing moves anymore. So the whole animation is on frame 0 for now. I'm gonna add a plane effector. This will be our plane animation, and we use this to control our cloner. So here I don't want the position, I want to animate the time offset. And so let's see our cloner. So I middle click the cloner, so I select everything, and then we can see that the animation is for 40 frames long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my plane animation to 40 frames for the time offset. So here the animation is back to the last frame, if you want, and so I'm gonna add a linear falloff on the plane linear field. So this will enable us to control the animation with the linear field. I'm just gonna rotate it like so. And now I go back to my object, and when I go through the village with my linear field, on the right side you're gonna have frame 0, and on the left side of the field we're gonna have frame 40. So when it goes through the village, everything animates. So this is, as it said, it's really linear, but we can add some randomization. So we are adding a random field. So in there, it's like Photoshop layers. So my linear field is set to normal, and my random field, I gonna set this to overlay, so I can mix between both of them. And so yeah, so now if I extend the linear field and for example I go on this frame here, I can change my random seed, and as you see, I got different results depending on the seed. So this is just to add some randomness to the linear field. So yeah, we use a linear field, but there are a lot of other choices here. You can use, for example, a spherical field if you want. For now, we'll stick to the linear field, I guess. Let's add a keyframe here, and on frame 50, we move it like that and put another keyframe. Let's just hide the B2 field, and okay, let's give us some more time to look at the animation, and maybe extend the timeline to 200 frames. So yeah, I'm gonna stop my video here, and in the next video I'm gonna show you how I added the stop motion effects using Mograph. So see you in the next video. Bye.